Greetings to our friends at College Park Baptist Church. We are Ralph and Tammy Stocks. We were one-time members at College Park from the mid-80s up until the mid-90s. And upon leaving there, we were called to the mission field and went first to Hungary and then to Romania to serve as CBF missionaries. And it was there that we began to partner specifically with the Ruth School in Bucharest, Romania.
The ministry that we were involved in was reaching out to the Romani or Roma. At one point you may have heard the word gypsy. We don't use that term anymore because it's considered to not be correct. The Roma came out of India and went across Europe back in the Middle Ages, and as that happened, they were mysterious, that nobody knew anything about them. They traveled, they didn't act like other people. And things began to disappear. So because of that, they began to get blamed for things. And through their history, they formed a great discrimination and a great prejudice against them. And that prejudice was seen in three different ways: in housing, in healthcare, employment, and also in education. The Ruth School began in the heart of Bucharest when the youth at the local Baptist church, Providence Baptist Church, noticed that there were children out on the street and they should have been in school. So the youth said, let's use that as an outreach and invite these children in and help them. They quickly learned two things. One, many of the children could not read even though they should have been able to, and two, they were very hungry. So the youth of the church started a tutoring program. And it's very simplistic to say, but out of that grew the Ruth School. It now is 240 students, grades K through 8th. And though it started as a literacy program, now it's accredited and it graduates a class of 10 to 20 every year from the 8th grade. The school provides textbooks, it provides a hot lunch, it provides a medical doctor. They have after-school tutoring, they give out clothes and shoes. They meet the needs of whatever they might be of those children.
I was able to talk with Mihai Ciupashu yesterday. We call him Mishi, it's his nickname. And Mishi is the executive director of all of Project Ruth, and that includes the Ruth School. And he gave me an update on where things stand. Much like here in the United States, Romania has suffered under the coronavirus. And as the buildup kept going up towards its peak, around March 11th, they had to establish a quarantine, only allowing people to go to the grocery store and to pharmacies. And they were very authoritarian about it. They got the police spread out through the city, but they also brought in military. And in fact, if you went anywhere besides those two places, you had to have an authorization. And they could ask for that, and if you did not produce that, then they could fine you, very stiff fines. Mishi said up to $3,000. The Ferentar neighborhood in Bucharest is the poorest neighborhood, as you might imagine. A lot of folks living right on top of each other. Often in Roma families, you will find 2 or 3 generations all living in a 1-bedroom, max a 2-bedroom apartment where mattresses are stacked up against the wall during the day and laid down at night. But social distancing in that kind of environment is just an impossibility. And because apartments are so small, the kids obviously are outside all the time playing with each other and not practicing social distancing. So if COVID-19 gets into a community like that, it's going to spread like wildfire. Ferentar has a high crime rate. Police are reluctant to go in there in the first place. And Mishi was telling me that during these months, even ambulances will not go in there to collect patients who have been diagnosed with COVID-19. So how does Project Ruth and the Ruth School, how have they been able to react to these conditions? First of all, school had to be let out. There was no more meeting at the school. They were able to put out some schoolwork on the Google Classroom platform, and through that they were able to send out some worksheets, maybe some reading to be done, some stories could be shared, some mathematical exercises could be done. But alongside of that, as you can imagine, I should back up and say that very few of the Roma families have internet at home. Some of the parents will have a phone that might have internet, but nothing to the extent that would allow classroom activities. So Ruth School turned to distributing food bags. One of the positives of the Ruth School is that kids get a free lunch every school day. So since they did not have access to that anymore, food bags were assembled that contained rice and flour and oil, canned meats, maybe some canned vegetables. The families at highest risk were identified. It's not unusual for one spouse to be outside the country in another European country with a job, making money and sending that back home. All those jobs have been lost across Europe, so those folks have had to return. Now there's little to no income. All the construction jobs across Bucharest have ceased, so there's no longer work in the construction sector. In addition to the food packets, Ruth School has also been able to distribute meal tickets that families can exchange at the local grocery stores, and they are limited. They are limited only to food items and cleaning items, cleaning supplies. In addition to that, they handed out hygiene kits with toothpaste, shampoo, and different forms of disinfectants to be available for use in the Roma homes. And then the last thing that they've been able to do is to keep their medical office open. The Ruth School has always had a medical doctor, an accredited doctor on staff. That clinic continues to be open, although when patients gather outside, the doctor will not allow them to come in. Instead, they'll have a number. The doctor will push them off into one portion of the parking lot and attend to them outside. So things are very critical in that regard. Masks are very limited and are very expensive, so most of the Roma population does not have access to them. There's been another outreach that they've been able to do through one of their ongoing ministries.
When we talk about Project Ruth is the umbrella under which you find the Ruth School. You'll find the Gypsy Smith Leadership School that Michael has come and taught at before. You'll find the Boaz Second Chance, which is adult education. You'll also find the Obed Preschool. You can see the theme here that's going on. Well, the last one is the Naomi Center for Women. And this is mostly a sewing project for women in the community to come and learn how to sew. And these women are coming together and they're making masks for the community out of all the extra material and elastic that they have. So it's another outreach. The school is not just for the students, it's also for the community. So this is an outreach to the community.
May 1st supposedly is the deadline when authorities will release the city from quarantine. That means that it will have been under lockdown for 6 to 7 weeks. And they're very hopeful that they're past the peak and that they can control outbreaks, and that's certainly what we pray for. Even from that point on, school maybe can resume for a few weeks, but certainly in the months ahead, when so many jobs have been lost, so many families are without any income at all, there are going to be very difficult months, very big challenges economically for each and every family. The best way that the Three Nickels effort can help is to be put towards scholarships. Scholarships are used, we've had the same amount of scholarship per month, $30 per month, ever since 1998. And that goes towards teacher salaries, towards utilities, towards providing the hot lunch daily, towards having the medical person on staff, providing after school for kids whose parents work. All these activities are combined under that budget. So if you so designate, the Three Nickels gift can be used toward those scholarships. And that helps in the long run, not just in the short run. Although needs are very critical right now, this whole program needs to go on. It is serving a critical function in the Ferentar community. And I know that Mishi would thank you. I would like to say thank you on behalf of Project Ruth and the Ruth School, but also on behalf of Tammy and I. We've had a long history with College Park Baptist Church, and we know the love that you have for missions. So thank you again. See you, folks.